Welcome to the Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Doveston, and of course, it's this week's weekly overview for the week commencing the 17th of February 2020. Right, so I hope that from last week's video, you've gone and followed the link below this episode, and you have got your question in the new monthly giveaway. The last day for your entry is the last day of every month, so that's the end of February. Share it on, and let's see if your question is the one that wins this month. So remember, go along, fill out the form, be in the competition, and we'll draw the entry and do the video in the middle of March for your question at hand. Right, so let's get into this week. Last week, we had the approach of something great. We had the culmination of that approach of something entering your life to come and help and being guided with Marrying Maiden into position, even if you feel like the change is beneath you or you're in a position that is not your best self. Just let the change guide you in the right direction. This week, locked hexagram. So that means there are no changing lines. When I cast the coin 6 times over to make our hexagram for this month, there were no 6s and no 9s. There were 7s and 8s. And over time, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and that I'm not going crazy. So this is going to be an interesting week. Our hexagram is hexagram 39, called obstruction. Okay. And yes, it probably will feel for us as daunting as the name presents. And when I cast the coins and I got this hexagram, I'm like, oh, really? You want to make me go tell these beautiful people that we have obstruction this week? Locked. Oh. Okay, so locked hexagram is really ratcheting down on the force of change. There aren't any really specific pieces of change to come up, and I love changing lines. They bring us some very specific change signals to our week that really helps us grasp the change. So when we have a locked hexagram, maybe you'll find it a little tougher to grasp exactly how this applies, but keep working in it because it's very deep and powerful for us when it's a locked hexagram. Right, so obstruction. I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. This is like having a path that we're on, and we're merely on our path. And there in the middle of the path is a giant boulder. And what we tend to do is we tend to bash our heads against this boulder to try and push it out the way. Obstruction says there's something in our path, there's a blockage that we can't wish away, that we can't push away. And the more we use force to try and get rid of the obstacle, the more we exhaust ourselves. So this obstacle could be an obstruction, an objection, a standstill, exhaustion, and it can also be injury. Okay, so remember last week I talked about the idea of the approach being a symbol for me of the mountain of going up Kilimanjaro and this mountain looming over for me. Now when I went to go and climb Kilimanjaro and I didn't get to the summit, I got to 5,100 meters on summit night and was so exhausted and couldn't breathe, and I had to stop. And it was one of the most hardest physical challenge experiences, actually the most physical challenge that I have ever had to face. Willpower of taking every single step. It was extremely difficult for me, for other people, not. When I was about to go on my trip to Tanzania and go up Kilimanjaro with my husband and a group of peers, I cast the hexagram for the trip and I got 39. And I knew that, I don't think I'm going to get up to the top of Kilimanjaro. I'm not really sure about this because I've got this process of obstruction. But either way, I knew that obstruction can always be overcome. This hexagram is not about a blockage that can't be overcome, that you have to just wait out your time, like we might have with hexagram 47, exhaustion. Like there's no water in the lake. It's dry. Okay, we just have to wait. This is not that kind of thing. This is about finding other ways around the problem. Okay. So going up Kilimanjaro, not only did I struggle with breathing, like you turn over in your tent and you can't breathe, but we also got a common cold, which became bronchitis. And although there's a big sign up when you start the path saying, if you're ill, do not do this trip. You've paid all this money, you've made a huge commitment, you're going to do this thing, right? So we were climbing with an injury, and I was very conscious in this process of being present with obstruction. And what it said to me is, you have an injury. This hexagram is also called limping. There's an injury, and what you have to do is you have to accept the injury. Not wish it away, not bash away and kill yourself on a mountain. Accept the injury, okay? And for me, it was useful to work with this idea that I'm limping up this mountain. I was literally limping up the mountain and accepting the injury and understanding this is just I face an obstruction. How do I deal with it? How do I work around it? So for us this week, locked hexagram, obstruction, injury, limping. For us this week, my mantra for us is accept the injury. If you're ill, if you've hurt your back or foot, or you've been in an accident and you're recuperating, embrace the fact that you're injured and you're limping. And of course, injury can mean many different things. It can be an emotional injury. It can be a mental injury. It can be a social injury. So accept the injury. And the way that we deal with obstruction, the way that we go around it, is to change our point of view. This is not the only way. There's actually a way around this way. And you know how we get around the obstacle? And you know how we resolve this idea of obstruction this week? We ask for help. Yes, we ask for help. So we get through this obstruction this week by calling on a team, calling on friends, asking for help, and drawing in the people around you, love and care for you, to rally together to get you over the obstacle, just like this picture. If you are a leader, be open and authentic about the injury, about the obstruction with your team, and work together to solve it. If you are a husband, wife, or other in a relationship, don't sit there with the injury or the obstruction and sit with it internally and stew over it. Draw in the people that are closer to you and share where you're at, share the obstruction, and work out a team plan of getting over the obstruction. It is the only way to deal with this week. And if you struggle to ask for help, this is a week where you build a bridge and get over it. Ask for the help. So a locked hexagram, really focusing and ratcheting us down on the obstacle, the obstruction we're facing. And just when you feel that frustration that you're doing this, just go, Linda said 39 obstruction. Okay, just take a step back. Who are my helpers? Who's my team? Who can help me get around this problem and change my point of view and therefore change my experience of the obstacle? Wishing you a pain-free week. Wishing you tons of amazing helpers who are right there when you need it to pick you up and encourage you and show you a different way, and encouraging you to think differently. Don't just try and solve this problem the way you've always done it. That is not going to work. Right, so remember to get in your entry to the monthly competition. The link is below. Go and join the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, whatever your preference is. And of course, if you would like your own special question asked, not to do with the competition, but if you've got something that comes up that you want a quick, insightful, and deep reflection on what you're going through, the state of change you're going through, pop along to the link to the audio consultation. What happens? You pop through your one question, pop it through to me, and my service level is to get an answer back to you within 24 hours. So if you're hitting a crux and you need something answered and you need some insight, or you need another perspective to help you get around the obstacle, go and check out the links below. There's a 1, 3, and 5 question option there. It allows you to get a quick response out of me. You don't have to worry about time zones and slotting in a one-on-one, and you'll get an audio recording from me within 24 hours with insight to help you go around whatever problem you are facing. Thanks so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell so that you get these episodes straight into your app as soon as they are ready for you. Thank you so much, and see you soon at our next episode. Bye for now.